very, very highly charged political atmosphere this year. But to make sense of some of the issues and what's going to be quite important, I'm joined now by political analyst Somadoda Fikeni. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Welcome to you.
Well, thank you for bringing me to the program.
All right, so given what's just happened at Marikana, we've got Mangaung on the horizon. Some might say that this might be one of the most important Cosatu national conferences that we've had.
By far, even if you were to subtract Marikana and Mangaung, the fact that we are 18 years into our democracy, and by ANC's own admission, Cosatu's own admission, this democracy has done more to put democratic institutions in place, but social and economic justice has not been forthcoming. Irrespective of many policy initiatives which are there, it becomes the most decisive Congress to say what will workers say or do or agree on in order to influence the policy stance of the government and the ANC.
Zwelenzima Vavi has been at pains to say that let's focus on the internal organization. Why is that important? What is going on?
Well, if you look at a Marikana situation, you might begin to say maybe, and just maybe, the distance between the leaders or shop stewards on the ground and their workers might have widened to allow a gap for some other contesting organizations to take place like AMCO. Therefore, looking at the internal issues and avoiding fragmentation becomes very important. Otherwise, looking externally, it becomes quite, seductive to discuss ANC leadership contests, which is also a fragmented issue, and that in itself may begin to divide Cosatu itself if not well handled.
Talking about dividing Cosatu, it appears on the surface, certainly, that it is a divided organization. How will they get through this? Will Vavi and Co still be at the helm?
Ideally, since they are quite prominent leaders, finding a way of accommodating the current leaders, but also finding a protocol on how to deal with some of the issues that might have caused some tension, between leaders, especially the approach to the ANC. How do you approach the ANC leadership issue? How do you approach government where there are government weaknesses in terms of a critique? That in itself, I think Cosatu will have to come out with a formula, failing which it wouldn't necessarily help even if you were to jettison such a prominent leader. We've seen some of the leaders going away but becoming active either in the civil society or within the ANC or in all other spaces, therefore posing some challenges on the ANC itself.
We saw some of the workers, with this current mining struggle, dump their leadership. And I'm just wondering about, the state of unions, trade unions going forward. Are we at a turning point?
It might be a turning point in a sense that the economic hardships that came with a delayed recession and the structural problems that are intergenerational, without dealing with the issue of poverty, inequality, unemployment, unions will have to devise a certain strategy because their membership is beginning to feel the pinch of economic hardship and they'll make more demands. And if the unions are not responsive to that, they may begin to have a situation like the one of, creating alternative formations. So Cosatu itself has to position itself to be at the center of all these developments.
President Zuma, and very briefly, President Zuma is going to be addressing them. What is his message going to be? Because it's an important one for him, isn't it?
The first one, he would affirm the importance of the tripartite alliance. The second one, he would also recall that the Polokwane resolutions have gone a long way to cement an inclusive engagement of leadership, because he would have to contradistinct what was there before 2007 and what is there thereafter as to whether the membership will welcome and accept that, in the whole, it will be an issue we'll see in the next 4 days.
All right, so we're going to have to leave it there. Somadoda, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
All right, okay, so we're going to leave